We're going to see a contemporary staging of Fidelio with a very strong set from my designer Chloe Obolensky, beautiful lighting from Jean Kalman, and wonderful singing, but also great acting from this cast. This Fidelio takes place in an abandoned factory, a place that has been taken over and provisionally is being used as a prison. Very reminiscent of images we've seen on the media for the last 30 years, of a place perhaps we've seen it on our televisions, or perhaps we've seen it in the legal courts of The Hague. Places where great war crimes have been committed, where perhaps a large group of young men were taken, were disappeared, or we later learn were killed, or even more recently where hostages have been held. The main themes of Fidelio are a hunt for justice in the dark, a hunt for truth in the dark, in the metaphoric dark of a prison, the finding of injustice in the light of day. But all of this framed within, I think, the central idea of the opera, which is the power of love to conquer all. I mean, it's a search myth. It's like the great stories of often a hero who will go into the underworld, into the dark, to find his lost love, Orfeo and Eurydice. But in this case, it's a fantastic reversal, because the heroine goes down deep into the dark to find her love. I think what's startling about Fidelio is these are terribly, terribly ordinary people. There's two groups. There's the Rocco, Marcellina and Giacchino, the jailer and his daughter, and the young man who's in pursuit of the daughter. These are real working class heroes. You know, here you have an opera where exquisite music is sung while somebody is mopping a floor, or somebody is digging a hole in the ground. You know, workers are doing manual work. The other group, Florestan, Leonora, Pizarro and Don Fernando, are clearly a group of contemporaries. I'm sure they were at university together, I'm sure they studied politics together, I'm sure they worked in the debating society, I'm sure they shared a flat, I'm sure they all had affairs together, and they all know each other very well. These people are extraordinary because of the situation they're in. They're quite ordinary people in extraordinary circumstances. I'm blessed with these singers that are also spectacular actors, and that makes my work pure pleasure. Stefan Liesner introduced us. We were both in Vienna. I was making a production of Traviata, and Stefan brought Daniel to a rehearsal of Act 3. And then we went and we had lunch, and we talked a lot, and we liked each other, and we got on very well, and then we just began work on this, really. We began our conversation, and from there we started our work on making this version. The fruits of that, of course, is that the duet and the aria change places at the beginning of the piece from what I was used to. It's of course a great honour to be doing the opening of the season, and of course if you haven't ever done it you don't quite know what it means, but I am beginning to find out. I think it is an extraordinary honour to be doing Fidelio in a year in which the story in the Ukraine unfolded and the story of the ISIS beheadings. It is an extraordinary moment, therefore, to be looking at this piece, and comes with a certain responsibility. It's also wonderful to be back with a company that I've worked with before. I did A Death in Venice here 2 years ago, and although that piece began its life somewhere else, 38 of the small roles in that piece were sung by La Scala's chorus. So in a way, for me, it's very delightful to come back and be meeting a group again, and to be, many of whom are friends, and so I think it would be terrifying to come and do December the 7th if you haven't been here before. I think it's very nice to have been here before.